Hello, everyone. It's time to listen. I hope your day is getting off to a great start. Today, I'm going to talk about George Floyd, and I know a lot of people are talking about him and the movement and everything that's going on. But I want to respond to some of the things I've been hearing about how or why we are. It's like, why did you choose him? Why is it him that people are protesting about or what have you? Because he's a criminal and he's a this and a that, and you keep hearing all these negative things. But it's not just behind George Floyd. It's not just him. It's about the men and women that have died for hundreds of years, not a week, not a month, not a decade. I mean, hundreds of years, our people have been dealing with this kind of crazy. And people are saying, well, I'm tired of black people talking about this happening to them. They act so sensitive or what have you. I'm fed up, personally. And I know I'm not a person of importance and nobody really know my name. But really, as a person, just a black person, I am fed up. We keep singing the songs, we shall overcome, but yet we have not overcome. And what people are experiencing is the pain. And we don't talk about the pain of the matter. Yeah, some think it's just angry. Oh, black people are angry, they're protesting and whatever. But what you really see is the anger mixed with the pain. Because the pain has never been resolved. No one talks about it, and no one really seems like they care. All of the pain that we have experienced as a people over the last hundreds of years. And so this is more of a rant than anything else. And I just need to talk about this because it is horrible. It is heartbreaking, to say the least. It's one of those things that you can't sleep at night, and one of those things that, you wake up to. And I just admire the young people that are out there protesting, and these things are happening in their generation, and they're speaking up. So it wasn't just George Floyd's situation. It wasn't just seeing this man with his knee on this man's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. It wasn't just that. It wasn't just the way he looked into the camera as if to say, this is another nigger down and we don't care. It wasn't just that. It was all of the things that have happened. And this was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Now we have had enough. Enough. I mean, enough. It has. We keep on saying that we're gonna get better. We keep fighting for justice. Yet other groups show up and say, "I need a right for this. I have a right for that," and then all of a sudden they get the right. But we have never gotten ours. We have never received anything from man, from people, from society, other than a pat on the back, a little trinkle here and a little trinkle there, and now it seems like, oh, we okay. No, we're not okay. And we're not okay until we start dealing with the pain of the situation. We don't deal with it, and we have never dealt with it. It's pretty much a pat on the back and keep on moving. We've never dealt with the pain of being taken from our land. We never dealt with the pain of being placed in slavery. We never dealt with the pain of men watching their wives be raped in front of them. Mothers watching their children being taken from them and sold to someone else. We've never dealt with the pain of being less than, talked to any kind of way, treated any kind of way, and told that you are cursed. We've never dealt with the pain of men not being treated like men, and women not being treated like women. And we never dealt with the pain of how society continues to deal with us and how they treat us and how they seem like they're never going to change. And then they pat us on the back, but we have riots and protests. Now we're saying, oh, by the way, we're not the ones that are really starting the riots. Yeah, there are black people participating or what have you, but the gold and the gold of the people, the society is to say, oh yeah, see, these black people are still out of control. They don't do anything right. But this is a lie, because they set the stage. The government set the stage, and it's always been set. It never stopped from slavery. Our prisons are full with our people, and that's a legal form of slavery according to the Constitution. So nothing has ever changed. It just got a little better and gave a little more. For the projects, when the projects came around, I remember my mom talking about how the projects, and people were excited because they had these new buildings and they were going to reduce their rent. And so it seemed like they could work and make a decent living, and they would be all right, and they were excited about it. But it was a setup. It was always a setup, because now you look at the projects and what they are now, full of drugs that they didn't bring in, full of violence that was created by man. They bought in the guns, they did whatever, and they set up a trap to put those people in one area, leave them there where they had to deal with poverty on a whole different level. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And we keep saying we want change, but only thing the United States speaks is money. That's the language of the United States, is money. Until we get our heads on straight to understand that we have to hit them where that we can get their attention. And that is not participating in certain things, not doing certain things, not purchasing or what have you. They have people out there organizing things, but we as a people have to come together and start fighting against this thing, because it'll never change. It will never change, and we keep going around in circles and circles and circles, and nothing is happening. It breaks my heart to see, when I hear about somebody dying in the street, to hear about somebody else, it's like George Floyd, then you have the Breonna, then you have all these other people that have died since then. Since 2015 to 2020, 5,000 black people have been killed by the police. Something is wrong with that. And so when they say, why are they have chosen George Floyd for this movement, it's not just him, it's all of the people that have died. It's all that have suffered on the hands of people that thought that they were better than, and thought that they were greater than, and treated us less than animals. They give the animals more rights than they give us. When I was a kid, I think the Watts riots were in 1965. So I was a young child, and I remember the riots. I remember how everything was just going crazy, because we lived in Los Angeles, and everything was just chaotic. I remember my mom crying, and grown people just around us crying and stressed out, and didn't know what else was going to happen. I remember my mom saying, they're burning up, we're burning up our own city, But I also remember watching the news with my parents. We were around the TV with my family, and they were showing it, and the image that stuck in my head was a dog that was biting this man while he was on the ground. And now I couldn't hear the sound of like the dog growling or anything, but you could see it. You could see the image of it, that this man was down and the police were there, and everybody was going crazy. But I seen that. I seen this big old dog on this man just biting him and what have you. And that stuck in my head all of my life to this day. Because that image showed that you could treat a person like that. It said that you're not important. You out there trying to riot or trying to protest or whatever, but you're really not important, and we can treat you like this. We can put tear gas and beat you with billy clubs and sick dogs on you and what have you. As I got older, and you start seeing other movements, other things, and yet these were the results. it was still like you are nobody. You are not important. You are just a black person. And what is that? I think, until it stops, until the killings stop, until people start treating people with more respect, until it stops, until people start owning, taking accountability of what you're doing wrong. You're treating black people wrong. You're not doing the right thing, but yet you're trying to find a loophole in that and call this man a criminal, and that's not going to justify what you have already done. It is over. We've had enough. Now, I don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. Will you stop? No. You're not going to stop until you have a reason to. And to our people, if we don't take a stance, yeah, the protesters are good. They're getting people's attention. People are having conversations. But when it's all said and done, what will we have in our hand? Until we take a stance where our voice is being heard, and the only way our voice is going to be heard is that we stop purchasing their stuff, we stop downstreaming their stuff, we start showing them that we have a strong voice and we can fight against this economy. We can let them see that how much power we really have, because we are the people that feed their economy. We sow seed in their economy, but they reap the harvest. We have to be smarter. We have to be smarter. We have to start doing things. We can't just talk about it. We can't just sit behind our closed door and shake our head or just say, yeah, y'all go, whatever. If you're not going to protest, fine. If you're not going to do anything, fine. But at least do that one thing. Stop buying their stuff. Stop acting like they're everything they present to you, you got to have it because you're trying to be like them. We need to understand our own history. We need to stand up. We need to stop acting like we are less than, even though they're telling there's only a few of us out there that's really fighting for us. So in order to fight, in order to stand, in order to really win this war, we have to do better. We have to do better. Thank you for listening.